Governments around the world have got pretty similar challenges. We've got high and rising expectations about how we do our work, how we explain the choices we make, and how we account for our performance. And there is rising intolerance for poorly designed, poorly delivered, or unadaptive services. And there is an appetite and a demand for competition in supply of those services. And the backdrop is flat or falling revenues. So we cannot engage in more of the same. It's true of us, it's true of governments in Europe, it's true of the US, it's true pretty much everywhere. We have got to find some new ways of working, and we've got to find them really quickly. Add to that the arrival of a new government in New South Wales with a new set of priorities and very high expectations for itself and for its public service, and with an agenda for major reform in health, education, transport, family and community services, to name a few. And this confluence of things has revealed some of the shortcomings in our sector. And I think we can be candid about them. We haven't been able to easily or rapidly reorganise ourselves to deliver services better or differently. We've been challenged to provide the data needed to make good judgments about how to redesign services, about how to reprioritise investment, and how to track and assess the results. If you read the Kerry Schott, we call it Shot 1, Shot 2's coming, Kerry Schott's Commission of Audit into Public Sector Management, she gives a pretty clear account of some of the problems around performance and reporting because of outdated and incompatible systems within agencies and an inconsistent approach to information management. There's a whole bunch of stuff we don't know and can't find out. So the platform may not be blazing, but it's pretty smoky, and that really has helped get done what we've done so far, which is for the first time get the sector to come together to drive some consistency in the way we use and invest in ICT. Agencies will have their own specific needs, no doubt, but increasingly we recognise we need to have some elements of policy centrally determined with delivery devolved to agencies. And without that, we are not going to be able to find a new way of working. Just a couple of things I'd point out about this strategy. People have touched on it before, and I know people have a very keen interest to find out exactly where those $2 billion are spent on ICT within government. Look, it's about 1 in 30 of the dollars we spend, and when you benchmark that as a metric against comparable public and private sector organisations, that looks about right, about 3.3% of total OPEX. When you look at the composition of our expenditure, it's a very, very different story. So Henry Parkes, the father of Federation, who knew a bit about public administration, said, give a civil servant a room, a desk and an inkwell, and pretty soon he will have around him a department. And that is, of course, describing an impetus to expand what you do and do what you do in-house that exists in all organisations, but it does exist in a more marked way in the public sector. And we need to change that for a range of good reasons. Someone introduced me to the phrase tin hugger. We're tin huggers. And we're tin huggers because we have sought to do things internally to manage risks. And to some extent we have managed those risks. But we have also missed a whole bunch of opportunities. We have missed opportunities to be fleet-footed. We've missed opportunities to buy services that are innovative. And I think unfairly, we have increasingly condemned our internal workforce to progressively more dull and uncreative work. And if we are to attract and retain brilliant people, we have to offer them something more than the prospect of more dull and uncreative work. Well, if we can buy it in, we need to buy it in. My related point is we're only as good as the skills and capabilities we have within our people to either do it internally or to engage with other people who can do it with us and for us. And we recognise as an absolute priority that we've got to identify how we want to operate in a few years' time, the capabilities that are needed to support that, not just in the technical workforce, but in the non-technical workforce understanding how to make use of this. If we're going to adopt a different commercial model, we need commercial skills, we need project management skills that we don't have aplenty. We need to change who we are and the capabilities that we have in-house and out-of-house. And one of the projects in the strategy is for my agency to work with the Public Service Commission to really get ahead of that. Lastly, we've got a strategy. It's involved a lot of work. It's been produced because we've managed to find a new way of working, so we've actually achieved something. But we're very conscious that it's just a strategy. It has to be delivered. We're very conscious that Winston Churchill, among others, have commented on this, the danger of speculation. He said, "Do not overlook Mrs. Glass's cookery book recipe for jugged hare. First, catch your hare." So we've got the recipe book, but we haven't quite caught the hare, and we need your help. Thank you.